Hello and welcome to Never Seen It, a podcast about movies we haven't seen yet. My name is Trent. I'm here with my wife, Betsy.
Hi there.
The Oscars are over. Remember when that one movie won and that actor just went on stage and just talked for a long time?
And then that thing happened.
And that really crazy thing happened? Yeah, remember that?
Obviously,
Yeah.
we definitely know what happened and aren't recording this before the Oscars air.
Not at all. We're not talking about Oscar movies anymore, except for one that actually got nominated a while ago.
And won a couple.
We are covering Michael Clayton. Not the dude, the movie. I don't know who Michael Clayton is.
I don't know that he's a real dude either.
No. It's just, I don't know why you would ever name a movie just a dude's name.
Because it's a power move.
I don't know, but all right, so this is my choice. I've been wanting to watch Michael Clayton for a long time. I started to watch this movie, God, it's been like 15 years.
Pretty much since it came out.
Pretty much since it came out, and I saw it was nominated a bunch. I like George Clooney in movies, and I just don't know why I never finished it. But we're gonna remedy that today. So Betsy, what do you know about this here Michael Clayton?
As far as the actual what it's about, I'm not really sure. I think it's a lawyer? Question mark. It's like a law thriller kind of a movie.
Yeah.
Mostly I know the actors who are in it. So George Clooney's in it. Tilda Swinton won for Best Supporting Actress, I think, for this.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's up for Best Actress or Best Supporting. Either way, she won.
Yep.
And Tom Wilkinson is in this.
Tom Wilkinson is the other big name actor who I believe also got nominated for Best Supporting.
I think so.
And he's one of these character actors that has been in a whole lot of stuff. You absolutely have seen him in something. And I don't think he gets enough credit for just being an amazing actor.
He's an amazing supporting actor, so I'm really glad that he got nominated for this.
Yeah.
I just think he should win all the awards.
Yes. So as far as what I know it's about, Michael Clayton is, let's call him a fixer.
A fixer.
A fixer. He is a guy who is hired by corporations to come in and clean things up when they maybe were naughty.
Okay.
Yeah, so I believe what happens here is he gets called in and he finds out that there's some really shady things going on that maybe he can't fix and maybe he's actually going to blow the whistle.
Ooh,
I believe that's
a
what's going to
twist.
happen here. So, again, I started to watch this movie. It feels like it would be very much my shit. And again, we haven't said it yet, but neither of us have seen this movie all the way through.
I've not seen any of this movie.
Yeah, and like I saw a trailer for this movie maybe a year or two ago. I just happened to watch it, and I was doing some research about what we could be doing for the podcast, and it didn't really fit in anywhere, but here we are. So,
Well, and this is one that got nominated for Best Picture, and I
did.
think this might be the only one from that year that I haven't seen to date.
okay. So we're gonna finish off.
I think so. I'll have to go double check, but I'm pretty sure that
Yeah.
since you and I have been together, we watched the rest of them.
I think so, yeah. So, I mean, other than that, like you said, Tilda Swinton is in it. She's amazing in everything. I think she's only appeared on the podcast maybe once. I know she's in Constantine.
Yes.
I think that's the
I
only
would have
time
to
we've
go
covered
through
her.
and see what else she's in.
Yeah, I don't think Tom Wilkinson has been in anything that we've covered. Yeah, we've mentioned the John Adams miniseries a couple times, I think. He plays Benjamin Franklin, and he's amazing as
He
that.
won an Emmy for that.
Yes, he did.
Because he's amazing.
He is amazing. So, all right. Since we didn't really know much else, we're going to go and watch Michael Clayton. I believe it is currently on HBO Max. So go on and watch it if you haven't already. And come back to us. We'll be right back. And that was Michael Clayton. Betsy, what did you think about that one?
I'm not really sure. Like, I didn't hate this movie. And it cooks. Like, it wasn't boring.
Yeah, we paused it a couple of times and you were surprised. Oh, geez, this is already halfway done.
Yeah, but this is the kind of movie that I always get a little confused by because they aren't giving you a whole lot of exposition. They're just sort of going, and it's complicated because it's like, okay, it's a lawsuit, and here's this person and that person and how they all relate to each other.
You have to trust that they're going to reveal everything. You just have to keep on taking everything in.
Yeah, so I always struggle with movies like that. Like when we watched Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, I didn't know what the fuck was going on that entire movie.
We saw that in the theater.
No, we didn't.
Didn't we?
No.
You sure?
I am 100% sure.
Okay.
And I'm glad we didn't because I wouldn't have been lost. So I was a little bit lost with this one, but not anything I couldn't unscramble.
Yeah.
And by the end, I'm kind of just like, okay, that was Michael Clayton.
Okay.
How did you feel? I think you liked it more than I did.
See, this is my kind of movie. So I'm going to mention a movie here that came out well before this one, and it's one that did not get a lot of buzz. I don't think a lot of people saw it, but it's very much related. It's the same kind of thing, and there's even a similar actor in a similar role. Sidney Pollack is also in the movie Changing Lanes.
Oh, okay.
The Ben Affleck movie along with Sam Jackson. Mm-hmm. It's another movie about a law firm who is going through a lawsuit, and there is some weird things happening in the background with the law firm and maybe forging some documents, and there's a document missing that is a very key element to the entire thing. And yeah, it's also another lawyer played by Ben Affleck who is having second thoughts about what his law firm is doing.
See, and I've seen this movie too, and I don't remember it.
You also weren't very much into that movie either.
It's just not my kind of thing, and I don't know why. Like, this is, like I said, this was up for Best Picture.
Yep.
And it's hit and miss. Like, sometimes movies like this I can get into and I really enjoy, or it just takes me a couple of viewings.
Yep.
This one, it's not bad. Like, it's structured in an interesting way. Like, the way it kind of starts, they give you a little bit and then they go back so that when they get to that place in the timeline later in the movie, you're watching it through a different lens because you already know all these other things you didn't know at the beginning.
You know that some shit is going to hit the fan at this moment, but then you take a pause, you go back 4 days. This is only 4 days, by the way.
Yeah, it's a hustle through these 4 days. A lot happens.
You know where this is going to end up, and you get all of the pieces, you get all of the players here, for lack of a better word, and they're just put into place. And I thought it was really well done. This is this director's first movie that he's directing, by the way. He has done a whole lot of writing. He's written a whole lot of screenplays over the years, but this is his first directing thing. And I read that apparently Denzel was up for the lead role here instead of George Clooney.
Interesting.
And Denzel turned it down because he didn't want to work with a first-time director.
Well, that's just a silly diva thing for an actor to do.
George Clooney did the same thing, but until he sat down with the director, the two guys ended up on the same page, and he ended up saying yes at the end.
They understood each other.
And after Denzel saw the movie, he regretted his decision.
Yeah, you should take that with a grain of salt when it's a first-time director.
Yeah.
But some first-time directors are people like Quentin Tarantino and Steven Spielberg.
Sometimes you have to take a chance. Yeah.
You have no idea who's going to be that guy. And this dude had written The Devil's Advocate, which we covered on this podcast.
Yep.
He also wrote Rogue One.
Yes. And who is continuing on with the Andor series.
Yeah, he's involved with that, which makes sense because he created those characters for the other movie. But yeah, so this is a guy who has since proven himself, and I understand having to have a little faith and put your hands in this director. Like I said, it's well structured, it's interesting. The acting is good. I'm not quite sure I understand why Tilda Swinton won for this role, but
I don't either.
I'd have to go and check the competition. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Tilda Swinton, and I think she definitely is a person who is worthy of getting major awards.
Yep.
But I would like to go back and see who her competition was, because
She's barely in it.
I was waiting for the big moment, the scene, the thing.
Everybody has a moment that they're going to show in your Oscar reel when they show your nomination. They're going to show your little reel, one little clip from the movie. There wasn't any of that in this movie.
And it's not to say she's doing nothing. I don't want to demean her performance. There's definitely times where she is expressing lots of inner turmoil.
She is anxious the entire way.
Yes.
And the scenes of her, and we're just going to kind of say the opposite things of what we just said, but there are scenes of her just rehearsing the things that she's going to say later in the timeline here, and then it cuts back and forth, and I just take that as good filmmaking, not necessarily good acting.
It's the way it's edited and written. Yeah.
Yes. So in this case, the editor is making her look better than what she actually is.
Again, not to demean her performance or anything. Sometimes I find it interesting when people win Academy Awards for certain roles. And it was kind of the same thing the year that Mahershala Ali won. One of the years he was nominated, where I was like, really? This is what we're calling the best performance? Okay. I mean, sure, he wasn't bad in either of the movies he won for.
Yeah.
It's just always interesting, when you're looking at the competition, somebody is doing this powerhouse performance.
Sure. And we love Mahershala Ali.
We do. And again, not to demean it, it's just the supporting category is weird. It is a weird category.
But then you have a performance like Heath Ledger put in for The Dark Knight, and you see, oh my God.
Yeah, hand him the award now.
Regardless of the fact that he died in the interim, you cannot look at that performance and not say that it was masterful.
Mm-hmm. When you forget who you're looking at, it's a great performance.
And in his case, he kind of forgot who he was for a while.
And this isn't the only acting nomination from this movie. So we said Tom Wilkinson got nominated and George Clooney got nominated for lead actor. Now, I will say I have since seen George Clooney kind of do the same thing.
Yes.
He's good. He's a consistently good actor.
He is, but he seems to be only ever playing George Clooney.
Most of the time. I love when he is a goofy motherfucker.
Yes.
Every time he is in the hands of the Coen brothers,
he
delivers
watch
some nonsense.
Go and watch the couple of Coen brothers movies, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, and Hail Caesar, where he's just a goofball, and I love it.
He's ridiculous in those movies. I think he's also in Burn After Reading, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
Yeah.
With Tilda Swinton.
Yes. So it's not like he can't let loose and be a goofball. Frankly, sometimes that plays really well into his strengths. But yeah, this performance, it's kind of stuff I've seen him do since here.
Anybody could have done that.
Well,
I don't
say anybody, but
you know what I mean, no. Any competent actor would have been able to take this role and run with it. I don't think he really put in anything special here.
Mm-hmm. Denzel might have given a really interesting take on this movie.
Maybe.
Now that you say that, I'm like, I would like to see that.
You know what I wanted more out of this movie is outrage. Because the only person who is talking about the bad thing that is happening in this movie, which is these farmers getting screwed over and killed by this herbicide company.
And again, they are really that clear about it. You kind of have to piece that together.
I mean, I got it by the end, of course. But what I'm saying here is the only person who is on the side of the plaintiffs, let's say, is the crazy Tom Wilkinson.
Yeah,
Arthur.
He goes off of his medications
Yeah.
and he decides to build a case against his own law firm.
He's been looking at this for so long and he can't take it anymore. He cannot take being on the side of the law firm only, because in the end, what we find out here is that the real bad guy is the law firm, because all they're trying to do here is maximize the amount of billable hours that they have per case. That's what a law firm does.
Yeah, why would we settle this case in any due time? Let's take 6 years and cut a huge check when it's all settled.
And at the end, when Tilda Swinton is meeting with all of the board of directors, they found out, actually, the reason why they're wanting to settle now is because their legal fees are capped after a certain amount of money. Then it goes down by the percentage. So it's capped at 36% of whatever the settlement is. After that, it's only 24%, and they don't want 24%.
And combining that with what the settlement amount would be for the plaintiffs, it would basically,
they can write it off.
It would basically be a write-off, and the company will be ahead for doing it.
So, going back to my initial point, there's nobody else here who is outraged by what is happening. We don't even get the outrage from the George Clooney character.
No, he's doing his job.
He's doing his job, but he does, develop a conscience by the end. He ends up turning this company over to the police and saying, hey, these are a bunch of fraudsters, and this woman was trying to buy me off.
Yeah, she tried to kill me, and I'm going to get her on record.
Right.
Because I can blackmail her now.
And right there, he's only protecting himself.
Yeah, but he's also trying to bring them down in what little way he can.
Sure.
Because he does. He's like, well, what if Arthur wasn't wrong? He may have been off his meds, and he may have been a little bit nutso, but what if he wasn't wrong? The person who knows this case and knows this law better than anyone is Arthur.
Right. And you have the one scene of George Clooney and Sidney Pollack near the end of the movie where he brings in the red folder. He doesn't even say anything about the red folder.
Once he gets that in his hands, he carries it around half the movie and no one ever sees it. He never shows it to anybody. He's got it with Sidney Pollack. He's got it when he goes and confronts Tilda Swinton.
Yeah.
And he never shows it to anybody.
Yeah. He knows what's in it. Everybody knows what's in it because they've all seen it. It's just a matter of, are you going to present that in court?
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing with the other changing lanes thing. The entire movie is about this document that he loses in a traffic accident. And it's this side thing that is influencing the rest of the movie.
It's the MacGuffin!
It is. And it's this thing that he loses that is the crux of the entire case, and he loses it, and yeah, it's the same thing here. This is the one thing that will fuck over this entire lawsuit and find in favor of the plaintiffs. But in this case, they want to settle right now because if this comes to light, guess what? They're fucked.
Yeah. Well, and to go back to Tom Wilkinson.
Yeah.
He's the most interesting thing in this movie.
Yes.
Easily, because he is expressing that outrage that you're saying is otherwise lacking from this movie. He is having a meltdown in the deposition room where he just starts screaming, "I love you, Anna," and he gets naked. And they don't really... I don't understand that.
He does have a condition.
He does have a condition, but... he's on the phone with Anna. So he has singled out this woman who is one of the plaintiffs.
Yes.
And he has made a personal connection with her and is trying to help her. But, is it just him having a mental breakdown? Because the movie starts with the audio of him in the room with George Clooney's character.
Yeah.
Talking about how he was in the middle of a room and someone was screaming, and then he's in the middle of traffic and he's being rebirthed, and it's this weird metaphor.
It's this weird metaphor of him leaving the courtroom or leaving this building was like being extracted from the asshole of the law firm, and he's covered in this goo.
Yeah, the afterbirth.
Yeah.
He's talking about goo.
And he's just got this covering him, and he's finally free. After he's been extracted from this thing, he can finally say what he actually believes, and he's not just doing it for the law firm and not just doing it for himself. Well, in reality, he probably should have been a defense attorney and not work for this law firm.
You don't go and work for law firms like this. This is literally what they do.
If you have a conscience.
Yeah, this is literally what they do. But yeah, they start the movie with that, and then he's not actually even on screen for half the movie. It's a good 20-30 minutes before they say Arthur so-and-so, who we've never met, we don't know who this is, stripped down naked in a deposition room.
Right, and he is the main litigator on this case.
He's leading the case.
Right, and the Tilda Swinton character is the in-house counsel for U North, which is the herbicidal ag company who is being sued. And they are the ones hiring out this other law firm to help out with this class action because, that's what they specialize in.
That's what these law firms exist to do.
Yeah.
Class action lawsuits.
Yeah.
But it all just kind of accelerates quickly because Tilda Swinton, effectively, she steals his briefcase is
Yeah.
how does she get his briefcase? Because they say this, they're looking for his briefcase. It was in the room. She wasn't there.
No.
But somebody in the room where Arthur had his meltdown grabbed his briefcase and gave it to Tilda Swinton's character.
Right, and they had, or he had the memo inside of his briefcase, I think.
The very damning memo.
Yeah.
That basically is the key to this whole thing.
Which I don't even understand why he has that.
No one
because
even
that's
knows.
the original, I think.
Well, they say something about there was like a fire or there was a problem. A lot of the hard copies, their files were destroyed.
And that kind of, it almost seems like a retcon or an easy way out there.
Or kind of one of those, maybe if these documents that we know are damning met with an accident, we won't have to worry about this in the future.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's unclear how he got this document. It is unclear how Karen, Tilda Swinton's character, got his briefcase with the document.
Yeah, because there's this other like law team holed up in this hotel room in Milwaukee.
His whole group that's working with him.
Yeah. They're there in the deposition room when all this happens. Arthur comes in as outside counsel to help out, but then he goes nutso in the deposition room, and now the plaintiffs would have cause to not settle, basically.
Yeah, your lead
or
litigator is insane.
Money. Or ask for more money.
Mm-hmm. It puts them in a position.
Yeah.
Also, this was another confusing part of this movie because they set up that Karen starts the movie in Omaha, Arthur is in Milwaukee, and somehow they all end up in Milwaukee. But then somehow Arthur gets back to New York. And the way it's shot and the way it's edited, I was really confused where everybody was and how they got to where they needed to be.
I don't know if they were actually in Omaha.
They were, though, because they showed Omaha. You and I have been to Omaha many times.
Okay.
They were in Omaha. That's where the headquarters are. And then they find out about this thing. And presumably they went to Milwaukee.
Yeah, you're right.
But again, it's a little unclear. And then Michael Clayton flies from New York to Milwaukee, but somewhere in the night, Arthur escapes the hotel and is able to get from Milwaukee back to New York.
He said something about like getting a limousine there or something.
I know, but this all happens in the course of about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I just, structurally, again, I was a little confused how all the parts ended up where they were. I don't know.
I get that.
I could have used a little more clarity on what was going on and where it was happening.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so we get a scene later where Karen is digging around in Arthur's briefcase, and then she gets on the phone with a nameless, faceless group of guys who are apparently like PIs or something.
Yeah, that's how I was referring to them in my notes. They're private investigators who are also fixers, but not lawyers.
It kind of seemed like what she was doing was very illegal. Like, it started out innocently enough, like, investigate this guy a little bit, follow him around. Okay, there's nothing too wrong about that.
Yeah.
But then she basically goes completely off the rails and decides Arthur has to die.
And this is the Karen character just way in over her head. Like, we're introduced to her in the future and she's in the bathroom and she's just sweating profusely because this is right after she tells the goons to kill Michael. Mm-hmm. And then later she's doing the rehearsal of her speech for the interview and she's all nervous about that. Everything that she's doing here, she's way over her head.
That makes sense. Okay, I get that. And she's like really nervous when she's on the phone with these guys. Like, I've never done this before.
There's a code.
I have the code. Yes, I have the code.
Yes, please. I'll hold. just being very like sweet and innocent about it, but really, this is some dark shit that she's doing, and she doesn't even know what she's doing.
And she's a woman who doesn't do stuff like this.
Right.
So when the guy meets her on the street, she's like, "We need to take care of this guy."
Like, take care of him?
What are our other options? I don't know the options. And wink, wink.
And she's being very, very vague because she doesn't know what to say. She knows what she wants, but she doesn't want to go out and say it.
She doesn't want to say, I want you to kill this man.
Yes.
But she needs to tell him without telling him.
Exactly.
And yeah, they just go to 11 very quickly and tase him in his apartment and shoot him up with something or other.
When they like put something in his mouth to like incapacitate him.
Yeah.
At least temporarily.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
How do you not? I mean, they said the toxicology report is going to take 2 weeks to come back, Betsy. So they're clearly not going to get all this done before the settlement comes through.
No, and they also were in his apartment earlier, taking pictures of his medication. So they could have just OD'd him on whatever he's got in there.
And they're trying to set him up as this crazy guy who wouldn't be, I guess, credible to be the attorney, so that they can either dismiss them as like a malpractice thing. Even the Sidney Pollack character later say they could sue us for legal malpractice here for having this guy on the payroll. This is why we need to have him committed, so that we have a paper trail as to these are the things that we did in order to solve the problem of Arthur.
But then when he dies, he says, I don't even want to say it, but Michael Clayton says it right out loud. We caught a lucky break.
Yeah, by him dying.
Him dying, him presumably to their eyes killing himself, was a break for the law firm.
Yeah.
Because now they can say, yeah, no, he was crazy, and it's not our fault. See
and even
how
the
crazy
cops,
he was?
Even the cops say it was a suicide. So if the cops are saying it, then we're in the clear. And the other thing that is just kind of hanging over everything, they don't talk about it a lot, but the law firm is in the process of going through a merger.
Yeah.
So they can't have this thing get fucked up, because if this gets fucked up, then they don't get the settlement money, which is to say the merger doesn't need to happen and they're all out of a job, because then they're going to be sued out of oblivion.
And there's kind of a lot of things happening, because then there's also Michael owns a restaurant
There's
with his brother.
This side story with Michael Clayton himself. Like, he's not this rich lawyer who is getting paid a buttload of money to do all these unsavory things.
He's worked at this law firm long enough that he should have been a partner, but he's not, because he's really good at what he does, but he hates what he does.
He's most valuable in this particular position rather than being a regular litigator in court. He was really good at it back at his old position, but within this law firm, they need him here because nobody else can do it as well as he can.
And in his personal life, his brother, again, they're not really clear. Like, he's got a drug problem, maybe a gambling problem, but he's in deep, and they have to close the restaurant and sell all liquidate the assets because he owes like $80,000. And of course, his brother can't pay it, so he's got to pay it.
Right, and he even says, like, the restaurant was a fallback plan if this lawyer thing doesn't work out, even though he's been doing it for pretty much his entire life.
I don't think it's so much a fallback as I want to do anything other than what I'm doing. I'm sick of it.
Well, he does say, I can't remember the word that he says, but he does say that
an alternative.
It is another thing for him to do. But in this case, it didn't work out, and they have to sell the restaurant and everything in it in order to pay off the lease or the loan that they have. It's not really clear.
There is a guy there who seems to be going back to, quote, his people. And I think he got involved in the wrong guys. And nobody's mad at Michael, but he's the only one talking to them, so he's got to pay up.
Right. Yeah, that whole thing is unclear. And even like the brother shows up, Timmy, he shows up a couple of times. Like, after the car blows up, somehow he can get a hold of Timmy, and Timmy picks him up.
Yeah, so there's like a lot of stuff on the side happening here. So as evidenced by the fact that we're not checking our notes and I'm regurgitating all of this, I was comprehending everything.
Sure.
I'm unpacking it all. I just don't know how I feel about this as a whole story.
Yeah. And for me, because I've seen that other movie I keep referencing a lot of times. I think you've only seen it once.
Literally once, yeah.
And I keep referring back to that. I think that movie is a tighter story and maybe a more relatable story, because these are, like, the Sam Jackson character in that movie is a regular dude who also is an alcoholic and is going through some stuff and trying to, like, buy a house, and he can't buy a house because Ben Affleck is trying to screw him over. I don't want to keep on talking about that movie, but it's such a similar concept that I can't separate the two, especially Sidney Pollack.
I feel like most of these movies are structured like this, where there's a big company, there's a lawsuit, there's a
little guy getting screwed over.
There's kind of danger in there because if you're crossing the wrong people, that's why there's this lawsuit and they're gonna try to shut you down.
Right. And in Changing Lanes, Ben Affleck like hires a guy to like ruin Sam Jackson's life. Like he puts like 4 bankruptcies on his credit report, and he like calls his kid's school to say that there was a problem with his kids, and Sam Jackson shows up and is arrested because he thinks that his kids are in danger. It's just a real weird like mind fuck that they're going through. It's a battle between these two people. And in this movie, I don't even know what the conflict here is.
Well, the conflict, it's weird because like they show you at the beginning of the movie his car blows up and you're like, what the fuck? Because it comes out of nowhere.
Right.
But while his car blows up, he pulls over on the side of the road and is looking at horses.
Sure.
Like they don't really explain
Not
why.
at all. Why does he pull over?
Why does he stop the car? Why is he staring at these horses? What am I supposed to read into here?
Like you said it while we were watching it. Is he like contemplating his life choices and what he's doing?
Which at the end he is, but at the beginning we don't know any of that.
Right, and he's also leaving this guy, this rich guy's house, who calls up his firm because he just was involved in a hit and run.
He hit a jogger and then he drove home.
And he's like creating all of these stupid ass excuses.
Maybe someone stole the car.
Right.
Hey, idiot.
Try to make something up. But in reality, he fucking hates this guy who he's going to visit. And maybe he doesn't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, he says, I'm not a miracle worker.
Right.
I'm a janitor.
I'm here to clean up as best I can.
And I can only clean up the mess I'm given, and I can't clean everything up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so at the beginning of the movie, we see that, and we see the same scene at the end. And at the end, it has weight. And I know that that's just, structurally how they want you to view it. I just kind of didn't care. I don't know. Like, this is one, like, would I watch it again? Yeah, I'd probably watch it again. Maybe now that I've seen it through once, if somebody smarter than me tells me, like, all the metaphors and the things that I missed, like, in the structure and the filmmaking.
Yeah,
because it's well made. It's interesting.
And I honestly don't even think that there's a lot of subtext here that we're not getting. Like, I read through the entire IMDb trivia thing. There's barely anything in there. Not a lot of people have been talking about it. And I just think it's one of these movies that in the mid-2000s, there was a lot of these, like, movies about corruption and companies being dirty and lawyers.
Taking down the big guy.
Yeah, there was just a lot of these kinds of movies.
There were.
And this is another one of them. So I can see why a lot of people would like this movie. I did enjoy it. I thought the story was coherent. I enjoy a story about, David and Goliath and, David winning. But in this case, I don't see why it got nominated for Best Picture. Other than the fact that George Clooney is George Clooney.
It's a big budget movie.
Big name actors.
Sidney Pollack produced it. He was a big deal.
Yep. Soderbergh is another producer on
this. So there's a lot of reasons why it would have gotten pushed to the top.
Yeah.
I would have to go back and look to see what actually won this year, because this came out in 2007.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
And that was even like before they made the big expansion of the list too. So this was only one of 5?
This is one of 5.
Yeah.
And I think this might have been the year with like Good Night and Good Luck in those movies. I could be wrong.
No, I don't think so. I think they came out earlier.
I'll have to go look after we're done recording. But yeah, it's fine.
I would rather watch Good Night and Good Luck.
Yes. If you want to talk about George Clooney movies.
Yeah, that's a much better movie. But yeah, I'm glad that we watched this one finally. It's been on my list forever. I've wanted to watch this all the way through and actually do an analytical sit down and talk about it thing. But yeah, I am a little disappointed.
I agree.
All right, I think we can leave this one as kind of a short one. Betsy, did you have any other thoughts before we get out of here?
I just have one. So the movie ends. He confronts Karen. He's got his phone in his pocket with his brother, the cop.
Yeah.
And they swoop in, they take him down, and then he leaves the hotel, gets in a cab, hands the cabbie $50 and says, just drive.
The ending of the movie, yes.
The end of the movie is him sitting in the cab, going for a drive, looking around alone with his own thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of that?
I didn't like it. I did not like that because you could say he should go and talk to Sidney Pollack's character. You could say he should go and spend time with his kid. You could say he's going to go and spend some time with his brother. You could say a lot of different places where he would go. But really all he's doing here is contemplating his life choices yet again. Maybe he's going to go look at horses. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's kind of similar to the end of The Graduate, where the camera just keeps rolling and he just sort of drifts off a little bit.
And then even the credits come on screen as he's just in the cab.
And then fade to black.
Yeah, it's a weird ending. I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's another just weird flourish on this movie I don't quite understand.
Yeah, I don't even know why he did what he did, other than the fact that they tried to kill him, you know? And I like the moment of him confronting Karen, saying, I'm not the guy you try to kill. I'm the guy you try to pay off. Because I'm the guy who is getting all this information, and I can be paid off. You didn't do that. So guess what? I'm going to take you down.
You fucked up. So I'm going to clean you.
And I will say this. I called it. As Karen was walking out, I said, oh my God, I'm just waiting for George Clooney to show up. And then there he was.
Because, of course, they all think he's dead.
Yeah.
Because his car blew up.
You have to have that confrontation there.
This big reveal where he just is standing there and she looks like she's seen a ghost.
I love it.
Because all of her concerns...
she's bad at this.
She's bad at this. Yes.
She's really bad. Yeah. So I wanted more of that, of him just like throwing his dick around and saying, I'm better than you at this.
I agree. I think we could have played up that part more. This is the rare instance where this movie clocked in right at 2 hours.
Yep.
Maybe I needed the 20 extra minutes that now we get in movies.
Yeah.
Maybe if this movie was made now and it was a 2 hour, 20-minute runtime, I would get just enough exposition to understand it better.
We don't even know what the resolution is with this company or this lawsuit or anything.
Are they all going down?
There's no resolution. The name of the movie is Michael Clayton, though.
Yeah.
It's not The Insider that we haven't watched yet. I want to watch The Insider because it's a very similar thing, but based on a true story. Again, it's called Michael Clayton, and there needed to be some kind of resolution with him or the overall story. We got none of it. So anyway, that's where we're going to have to end this one. We're going to read an email from Stephanie that was sent in a couple of months ago about Casablanca, because where the hell else are we going to talk about Casablanca? All right, she says, Casablanca is classic. I like it quite a bit, but I agree with Trent that it is not at the top of my list. The writing is so good, is very influential. I used to hate the romance because I didn't really get it. Why couldn't she stay there with him and just be happy? Now that I'm older, I can appreciate how complicated it all is and don't necessarily require a straightforward happy ending.
Yeah, the older you get, the more you understand that relationships are complicated and nuanced.
Yes, and some things are more important than just ending up with the girl of your dreams.
Yeah, when you're especially a girl growing up being fed, like, I'm a princess, and the
I
princess
need to be
always...
swept off my feet by Prince Charming.
And I get the guy in the end, or the guy gets the girl. You're fed rom-coms forever. It's really hard to swallow when you're given a movie where... it's real. It's not perfect. It's more like life.
And even in the 40s, like, that was the story of the day.
Yeah.
But this is war. And it's not going to end up with a happy ending. And he wants to continue on with his good arrangement because he's got a good thing going on here.
You've got a good thing. I've got a good thing.
Yep.
Let's not dredge up the past and fuck it all up.
Yes. She also says, Rick is such an interesting character and Humphrey Bogart is fantastic. Yeah, I've only seen the one movie, so I couldn't really say much, but he was good in it. Anyway, she says, I miss Betsy's fun socks. I don't remember the context for this, but okay.
Yes, I do have fun socks.
Betsy loves her socks. I also love getting fun socks for Christmas, but I agree with Mitch. If you get everyone the same thing, have them all open at the same time. I assume we're talking about Christmas movies at that point.
There was something about everybody got socks.
Or like if you're going around the room and people are opening presents. I was complaining that, okay, not everybody open presents at the same time, but like if you are giving like the entire room a bag of the same thing, then just have everybody open the same thing. That's fine.
Unless it's a joke gift, because then the more people that open it, the funnier it gets.
Right.
If it's really a truly absurd gift, I am all for like staggered open, because every time you open it, it gets funnier.
For maximum comedy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Stephanie, for that email from 2 months ago. Again, we're in the end of March here. Oscars are over. We're going to kind of slide through the rest of the month here up until we hit April. April, we're going to have 2 series going at the same time. Every single slot is filled with something to do. Look forward to our April stuff. But of course, listen to all the other episodes along the way. So if you would like to be like Stephanie and like all of our other emailers, email us at neverseenitpod@gmail.com, neverseenitpod@gmail.com. Follow us on all the social media stuff, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Links are in the podcast description, along with a link to support us. Throw us $1 on Anchor. We would very much appreciate that. But that is the end of another episode of Never Seen It. I want to thank Betsy for being my co-host yet again. She hasn't left yet.
I haven't left yet. Thanks, Trent.
And I want to thank you for listening to this episode and all of the other episodes we have done and will do in the future. But until next time, my name is Trent.
My name is Betsy.
And we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.